trying to use Bruce as his kick there for Troy, but he's going to have to try it. He's on here in turn 3, and they're 3 wide behind him. KD in the middle here.
The 81. Yeah, he finds himself in traffic here, and he's got a lot of work to do. The new leader, the 17 of Tommy Haynes. Troy Rafford in second. Todd Sargent in third. Look at these guys going down into turn number 1. They are side by side, 2 and 3 rows deep. Here comes the 94, Troy Rafford. He's putting it to the inside of him. Here's the inner turn number 3. Wimbish powers by and gets that third spot there. Wimbish up to third, but he's got Ed Morris behind him. The 35 of Jason Garrett takes the lead.
Look at the mirror. It looks like Troy might have made a little bit of a mistake and overrode the tunnel turn. Here comes the 30 car. Todd Sargent all over the back end, and here's the 81. Not too far behind here.
Welcome to Sim Race TV, coming to you live tonight from Charlotte Motor Speedway for the USRL 2018 Demon SimWorks Cup Series, race number 14, the final race of the season. And I've been told that tonight, so that's new news. Hey man, final race of the season because shortage of drivers over here. So, you know, the top 5 in points showed up tonight, but a lot of guys that wasn't interested in racing, I guess unless they had a shot at it, didn't show up. So they're going to make this the final race of the season here. So you know what that means. Tonight, we're going to crown a champion for the United Southern Racing League's 2018 Demon SimWorks Cup Series. And it's going to end here at Charlotte Motor Speedway under the lights. Night race here, so it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the one to take home that championship trophy because the points are tighter than ever. Well, let's take a look at the point standings. And also, I'm Jay Weezy, and I got Steve Baker here with me, and we're live on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch TV. And looking at the point standings up on the screen right now, John T. Wimbish, your points leader, by 3 points over Todd Sargent, and Troy Rafford, he's not out of the picture yet. He's only 10 points behind our race leader, our points leader, John Wimbish. So don't count any of these top 4 drivers out. Tommy Haynes might be a long shot for Tommy, Steve. But I believe, hey, we'll see what happens. I know that John, Todd, and Troy, it'll be a close one.
Yeah, I think you're going to be looking at Todd Sargent and Troy Radford and Ed Morris kind of on the outskirts there. But Todd Sargent and John, really close battle here. 3 points difference between the both of them. And really for Todd, he's won the past races. And, you know, he's coming in tonight with a lot of momentum. So he's got to be the driver to watch, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to make a pick on who's going to take this one home, Todd Sargent come back from around 20 points. When the chase started, he was about 20 points back from John. Now he's got it down to 3 points back, which makes it interesting here. So he'd be a good pick if you're out there and you're watching and you want to make a pick. Hey, Tommy Haynes is in 5th. He might be a long shot, but it's going to be a close race between Troy Radford, this driver right here, this 94 machine. He's qualified 2nd on the pole. But Troy, Todd, and John Wimbish, it's going to be a race-off here tonight at Charlotte. So let's take a look at our qualifying results right now. John T. Wimbish is in 4th. Our pole sitter is the guy we were talking about, the number 30 machine of Todd Sargent. And I know he knows how to get around a 1.5 mile speedway, and he knows how to go out there and put in some work, get them practice laps. Also, Ed Morris has had a good run this season. He's currently 2nd on the leaderboard here in qualifying. So if it stands like it is now, Ed Morris will be starting outside pole with Todd Sargent as your leader. And then Tommy Haynes will be on the inside of that 2nd row, and Troy Radford will be alongside him. And John T. Wimbish looks like he's going to start off in that 3rd row with Jerry Glenn alongside him there. We got Eric Driggins, Ray Radford, Darren Clement, and Chris Mefford. Let's take a look at the 46 machine of Mefford. I've ran a lot of races with this guy, Steve. What you know about him?
Yeah, Chris Mefford, not a regular this season in USRL, but coming out tonight to try and pick up the checker flag. Has some speed usually, and should be a contender towards the front of the pack. Just hopping in now, so kind of behind on the practice against everybody else as far as practice time, but there's plenty of laps in this race, and I'm sure he'll find his groove and be competitive.
Yeah, better late than never. And I've ran quite a few races with him, so I know that he's kind of a sleeper. Don't sleep on Chris Mefford, because he'll be there within that top 5, and he might show up when it counts, but he's always out there racing respectful and clean, especially with me. I mean, hey, I like racing with the 46 of Mefford. We've had a whole lot of fun out on these racetracks, but looks like qualifying's winding down. 40 seconds left. And Steve, you got a pick for this championship?
I think, like I said earlier, it's going to be tough to vote against Todd Sargent. Led a whole lot of laps the past 2 races and 2 wins in a row, so he's got the pole now that everybody has laid down a qualifying lap, so he's going to be starting out front, and I think it's really going to be tough for anybody to kind of slow down that momentum. John starting 5th, he's got the points lead, so he's going to have to make sure he leads a lot of laps and might even have to win this thing, but I think Todd, with the momentum he's had, it's going to be tough.
Hey, I totally agree, man. It's a perfect assessment. And, if I had to make a pick, I'm going to go with John T. Wimbish, a good friend of mine. So we'll see how it goes, man. I know it's going to be tough. Todd Sargent's been on a roll, and he's looking to roll in and win 3 in a row and close out the season with the championship trophy. So good luck to all the drivers that have a shot at this one. I can't wait as this thing gets set to go green here. The cars are out there. Drivers are getting in them. And we're getting set to go racing here. So let's take a look at our grid here tonight at Charlotte for race number 14. The final race of the season here tonight for the 2018 Demon SimWorks Cup Series here live at Charlotte on SimRace TV, SRTV Network. And of course, it's me, Jay Weezy, up in the booth here with Steve Baker. And we're going to try to bring you all this action. And if there's something we can do to help you out there, let us know. Because like I said, we're on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch TV. Todd Sargent, he's going to be the leader coming in to make it 3 in a row, at least try to. And Ed Morris, which has been hanging right up front with Todd Sargent here. And the final races of the season here, starting outside pole. The number 17 of Tommy Haynes is going to be starting on the inside of that second row. And he's going to have Troy Radford, the number 94, alongside him. Third row, not quite ready to go racing just yet, but that's going to be the driver of the 56 machine, John T. Wimbish, the Demon Racing Chassis, number 56, that is. The 97 is going to be alongside him. There's Jerry Glenn. Then we got the 42 of Eric Driggin starting in that fourth row on the inside. To his outside, it's going to be the 95 of Ray Radford. And in the final row, back there, looks like the 32 machine of Darren Clement starting inside with the 46 of Chris Mefford starting outside there in that fifth row. And 10 cars showed up here tonight, but I guarantee you this will be a good one. Last few races, Steve, been pretty green. Not very many cautions, green flag pit stops, and a lot of action.
Yeah, a lot of green flag racing so far in this three race chase. And coming down to the final race, that's going to be an important thing to remember is you're going to have to make every bit of ground you can at the beginning while the whole field is bunched up, not having those yellows to rely on to bunch the field back up. You're going to have to make sure pit stops are fast under green flag conditions, and we've seen some people lose a bunch of time on pit road in the last few races, so those are things to watch for in tonight's race.
Oh, yeah, getting on and off of pit road here at Charlotte under green is going to be critical to how your race ends here tonight. So we're going to crown a champion here tonight. Right now, Todd Sargent is getting set to throw the hammer down and send these babies over 150 miles per hour. Down into turn number 1, we're green here for the USRL 2018 Demon Works Cup Series.
Yeah, and Todd Sargent with a great start. Ed Morris on the outside of Tommy Haynes as they go through 1 and 2. Tommy Haynes looking to the inside. Now he pulls behind Ed Morris. So 1, 2, 3, Todd Sargent, Ed Morris, and Tommy Haynes single file out. Then behind them you've got Troy Radford and John T. Wimbish side by side through 3 and 4.
Yeah, looks like they're going to stay side by side here on the front stretch. As they drag race to the start-finish line, John T. Wimbish clears the driver there and gets off in the corner by himself. Leaves Troy Radford to battle side by side with the 42 of Eric Driggins there. And they finally get single file here after going green on the second lap around. And Troy Radford drops back to 5th. Well, actually up to 5th, down to 5th. Either way, he was side by side with John T on that restart, and John took advantage of having that inside position and was able to gain some ground there on Troy Radford. He had to fight with Eric Driggins up front. Todd Sargent, he took off as he is leading laps here at Charlotte, trying to close the deal here and take that championship away, because right now he's 3 points behind John T. Wimbish as he is followed by the number 7 of Ed Morris. Beautiful paint job on that number 7.
Yeah, and really Ed Morris, Tommy Haynes, like you said, not too much of a threat for the championship title. The drivers Todd's going to be worried about are right behind them with John Wimbish in the 56 and Troy Radford in the 94. Most notably, John Wimbish with that points lead. He's got 3 points right now over Todd Sargent. So John's going to have to make sure he can get up there quick, but he's got Troy Radford looking back to get his position back.
Yeah, Troy Radford carries some speed down into turn number 1. Wimbish pushes up the track just a little bit. That allows Troy Radford to get about a half of a nose out there in front of Wimbish there, but they're still side by side down the backstretch fighting for the number 4 spot. And here comes the 42 machine to make it harder on Wimbish there, to keep Wimbish out on that high side. Couldn't do it. Wimbish is going to drop in behind Troy Radford.
Yeah, and Troy Radford gains a valuable spot there. Pretty much his shot for the championship is to make sure he gets out front and gets as many bonus points and the win. Otherwise, I think it's going to be a long shot for him to be able to pull off the championship here tonight.
Yeah, if Wimbish can stay close to Todd Sargent, man, it's really going to make it hard on Todd Sargent. But getting those bonus points might be the deciding factor of who's going to win this championship here or not. So winning the race is going to play a big role if it's Todd Sargent, Ed Morris, or John Wimbish.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that 3-point gap. The race winner will receive 5 bonus points. You get a bonus point for leading a lap, and you get a bonus point for the pole position, as well as a bonus point for leading the most laps. So right now, Todd Sargent's already got the pole, 1 bonus point, so that cuts that gap down to 2 points. And he's led a lap, so that's another bonus point. So right now, only a 1-point lead, even if John Wimbish is running second. That race win is going to put Todd over John in the standings. So Todd's got to, if Todd wins this thing, it's all but a shot for his championship. And then, you know, really John and Troy have to win this to have a shot at taking home the title.
Oh, yeah, John will have to finish, you know, already since he's got that 1 bonus point. And if he wins this thing, John would have to finish. Well, if he don't win this thing, I mean, if he does win this thing, it's in the bag. No doubt about it. Todd Sargent's going to be the champion. But if he doesn't win and he finishes second, John will have to finish at least 2 positions behind him, not 3, because of that 1 bonus point. Takes that position away there as cushion for John Wimbish. So, man, if John could have got out there and got that pole, it would have made it a little bit harder on Todd Sargent there. Todd would have had to finish at least 3-4 spots behind or better to gain any ground. To win, he would have to finish. Wow, yeah, so Johnny should have went out there and put that thing on the pole and made it as hard as he could for Todd. So with John not qualifying on the pole, that's really opens the door for Todd Sargent. That's probably exactly what Todd wanted to see coming into this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just making sure he gets as many points as possible as early in the race as he can, and he's done that so far.
Yeah, it's textbook right now, going as planned for Todd Sargent. Couldn't have started off any better here, starting on the pole, leading some laps here. So if they get a point for a lap, then he also, you know, is going to have that point as well. Do they get a point for leading a lap?
Yeah, I do believe it's 1 for leading a lap and 1 for the most laps led. So,
wow,
it's going to be tight here. If, like we said, if Todd wins it or John wins it, then that pretty much claims it for either of those guys. But if neither of them win it, then those bonus points are going to come into play.
Yeah, Todd Sargent coming in on a mission, gaining any amount of points that he can gain. As many as, yeah, that's what I should have said, as many points as he can gain to make it as hard as he can on John. So he's got a point for leading a lap, a point for sitting on the pole. That really, really puts John in a bind. That means Todd Sargent only 1 point behind Wimbish at this point already.
And he's led every lap so far in this race. Coming on to lap 14 of 120. So really no competition for him quite yet. You've got Ed Morris running second right behind him. And Tommy Haynes still in third. As these top 6 or so drivers are pretty singled out and spread out.
Yeah, if I was John, I'd be trying to lead a lap at least. Maybe if they can get a caution, you know, John, it took that risk to stay out and possibly lead a lap. Man, that's almost impossible, because if you don't go down pit road, they usually give you a black flag if you come in the next time by, so it will be impossible to stay out and lead a lap unless we have a lap down car. Then it might be possible. But man, here comes Ed Morris as we are speaking about this stuff here. Ed Morris looking to make a move on the inside of Todd Sargent. He gets right to the back bumper of him, and then Todd Sargent moves on ahead of him by a car and a half as he comes across the start-finish line. Hey, Ed, out there on YouTube, man, thanks for watching. Right now, we got Todd Sargent, your race leader, Ed Morris in second, Tommy Haynes in third, and 10 drivers showed up tonight, so that means this one will be the last race of the season. The top 5 in points are here. And a great place to do it here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Steve.
Yeah, Charlotte Motor Speedway. A lot of people have experience here, as it's one of the free tracks you get with iRacing. So everybody kind of gets a taste of Charlotte right when they get on the service. So most people know how to get around this place, and right now it's looking to me like Ed Morris is really beating Todd Sargent, you know, through turn 2 and down the back straightaway. I'm not sure if Todd's getting tight off of turn 2, but Ed Morris is making up a lot of time, but not quite able to close the deal and get to the inside or outside of Todd Sargent quite yet, but he's still right there with him.
Yeah, he does look like he has a little bit faster race car right now at the moment here. Lap 18 of 120, so a long way to go here. And I'm not sure which one of these drivers will be better on the long run. And don't count out Tommy Haynes right there. He might be saving Tommy, hanging out right here back in 3rd position. So he might be saving some of them tires, and if they can make this tire wear come into play, it could play a big role on how this all plays out here at the end. Tommy Haynes running a different line than the drivers right in front of him. Tommy up the track just a little bit there. Not sure if he meant to do that or not, but if so, that means he is running a totally different line than the drivers in front of him, and still putting down some pretty good times there. He's about a 10th off of Todd Sargent, which Todd was a 29.77, I believe was the fastest lap the last time by. And Tommy Haynes was faster than Ed Morris there using that high line.
Yeah, and right now, like we said, with the field kind of spread out as it is, I see back in the pack, John Wimbish takes back over 4th position from Troy Radford in that 56. But like I was saying, it's likely that green flag pit stops are going to be, you know, the only strategy you have available, since these races do tend to have a lot of green flag runs in them. And won't be surprised to see some people try and short pit, to see some people maybe try and stay out and gain a bonus point by staying out, like you said. But I think pit road is where you're going to have to gain a lot of time today.
Oh yeah, and a lot of time can be made up on pit road there, so you just got to hit your marks. And I'm sure some of these drivers were practicing green flag pit stops, considering the last few races have been green pretty much the whole time. I believe we had 1 caution last race, if that. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun calling these races. And Todd Sargent, man, when they go green, he knows how to get it done. He won 2 of them. And he's looking to make it 3 in a row. Here's he has led 22 laps, every lap so far out there after starting on the pole. And it looks like he's still the fastest car. Ed Morris and Todd Sargent ticking off some of the same times, about 29.9, within a 10th of each other. So a lot of drivers actually in that range. 29.9 goes all the way back to Troy Radford there in 5th, which she ran a 30.1. So a high 29.9. and a 30.1 within a 10th or so. And we're watching John Wimbish here right now. And Troy Radford there hanging on to that 5th spot. Jerry Glenn's in 6th. Let's take a look on back a little bit further through the field at Jerry Glenn, the number 97, with a beautiful paint job on that thing. I believe that's Ed Race Paints that painted that car. See Ed's Race Paints on there on the side of it. So very good looking car there. The 97 is currently in 6th. Let's go back to the 32 machine, which always has a very nice paint job on it there. Darren Clement there with the beautiful ZL1 Camaro. And I believe he does his own paints as well. If he does, man, he does a great job. Behind him, the number 42 of Eric Driggins. And all these drivers got some pretty good paint jobs, man. I love seeing a good paint job on a good looking race car. And these cup cars, man, they are a blast to drive, fun to look at, great looking cars. They're very, very fast. The mean green number 42, he's in 8th right now. Chris Mefford hanging out right now, 9th in the 46 Sirius XM machine. And right behind him, we got Ray Radford there, the 95, looking good there in 10th. To round out your field, let's go back up front. Todd Sargent, he's opened up a 1.8 second lead over Ed Morris.
Yeah, Ed Morris a handful of laps ago was up challenging for the lead, but since then has dropped back to about a 2-second gap between 1st and 2nd place. And it's looking like Tommy Haynes might reel in Ed Morris now. He's closing in on the back bumper of that 7 machine.
Tommy Haynes, that's John Wimbish's teammate, and John's right behind him in that 4th spot. So Tommy Haynes and John Wimbish probably have radio access with each other, maybe helping, throwing out some different tips to each other. Right now we got Todd Sargent leading this one, and Todd Sargent is, let's see, TNT Motorsports. Ed Morris is AMS, Apocalyptic Motorsports. And then we got Tommy Haynes from Demon Racing Chassis. Demon Racing team there, him and John Wimbish. Troy Radford from WB3. Just going through some of the teams that are out there on the racetrack. Let's take a lap around with Tommy Haynes since we're watching him right now. Let's take a look, see how he gets around Charlotte. Also gives you a good idea of, you know, what the car's doing. Looks like might be a little bit tight.
Yeah, and we had noted Tommy Haynes was running a little bit higher in the corners. Not right there through 3 and 4, but earlier was running a little bit higher in the corners than everybody else. So he might be fighting a little bit more of a tight condition than a few of the other cars.
Yeah, and you can see out his front window, he's got a good shot there of Ed Morris, but Todd Sargent way off in the distance there, so it's going to be hard for him to run down Todd unless Todd makes a mistake or Todd burns his stuff up. Last time by, Todd Sargent was the fastest car on the racetrack, a 30.079. Second place was a 30.25. Third was a 30.4. But those things do switch up there. These drivers are not running identical lap times each and every lap. Because Ed Morris looks like he dropped 0.3 of a second there on that last lap. Let's go back. Because John Wimbish is pulling up all over the back of Tommy Haynes. Showing Tommy in second place right now. We lost Todd Sargent.
Todd Sargent, I believe, went down pit road.
Oh, Todd Sargent, we found him on pit road. First one to come down pit road and off of pit road there in the RUAG Chevy. And he's going to make his way back out on the racetrack there. It looks like he ran 31 laps before he came in. So he might be making 4 pit stops here tonight at Charlotte. As he blends back up on the racetrack there on the back stretch. John Wimbish will get a lap lead here under green and get that crucial bonus point. And I believe his teammate might have let him get out in front of him there to get that bonus point.
Yeah, it's a possibility. And now we see Troy Radford coming on the pit road, making sure he's getting service and tires not too late after Todd Sargent. But John Wimbish staying on track. Let's see if he comes this time. Otherwise, he's going to maybe stay out and hope for a yellow. But nah, woes it up, and he's coming on a pit road as well.
Okay, I was going to say, if they don't come in at 30 and make 3 stops, they'll be coming in at 40 to make 2. Maybe he was going to try to stretch it out and make 40 laps out of it, but nope. Here he comes as his teammate Tommy Haynes takes over the lead, stays out as his John Wimbish relinquishes the lead over to come down pit road there on lap 33. And on to lap 34 as he exits pit road. Tommy Haynes, it's going to be interesting to see how long he stays out. The longer he stays out, the worse it'll be on him there. I believe Todd Sargent will be a good 4 or 5 seconds out front of him if he stays out there for too many laps. He's been out there for 4 laps since Todd Sargent come down pit road there on 31. Which I would have came in on 29.
Yeah, and Tommy Haynes looks like he's coming now.
Yeah, he's down on the apron here, coming off of turn number 4. He's going to make that hard left turn there. Slow that thing down there. Come down. I believe pit road speed is 55 there, so he way down there to 45 miles per hour there before he got on the pit road, so he might have lost a lot of time creeping down pit road there.
Yeah, now as Chris Mefford comes down the pit road, that should recycle the lead back to the third machine of Todd Sargent. So Todd Sargent first on pit road, first back off pit road and now taking back over the lead position.
Yeah, and everything going as he would expect it to go, man. I mean, I cannot believe nobody come down pit road before him there on lap 29 or 30, and they're going to let Todd Sargent come in once again. It happened last race when Todd Sargent was the first one on pit road, and off of pit road he went on to win the race. And it happened here tonight for the first pit stop. Not saying that it can't be done, but I mean, you're going to take every shot you got. I would anyways. If I was John Wimbish, I would have tried to come down on lap 30 or lap 29 coming to 30 or 30 coming to 31, one of the two there. But looks like Todd come in at 31, so it would have been possible to gain some ground there on that 30 machine. But instead, it's the opposite. And right now, Todd Sargent is about 7.7 seconds out front of Darren Clement. Darren's in second right now as he made an excellent pit stop, getting on and off of pit road and moves up into the number 2 spot. John Wimbish drops back to 6th after pit stops. So it looks like John might have lost a lot of time getting on and off pit road.
Yeah, and Troy Radford's up to 3rd now, but still 8 seconds back of Todd Sargent. So, like you were saying, I mean, we've seen Todd Sargent dominating on track the past 2 weeks. So, really, the only place that you would have time, unless you're outrunning him on pure speed, is on pit road. And like you said, I'm surprised to not see a few people try and short pit him this go around, especially because you're able to get a handful of more laps than you need. Later on in the race for that last run.
Oh yeah, I'm shocked as well, and especially after what happened last race when they let him be the first one on and off of pit road. He really come out and dominated that race and took home the win. So everything going as planned here for Todd Sargent as he is back out front, leading laps, 8 seconds over second place driver, the number 32, Darren Clement. And what a jump by Darren Clement after first pit stop there. He comes from, I believe, 6th all the way up to 2nd.
Yeah, and as we see him now, Troy Radford on the inside of Darren Clement coming through the quad oval and going to take over the 2nd position going into turn 1.
The quad oval, that's pretty cool, man. It's definitely not a tri-oval.
Yeah, 2 distinct kinks there on the front straightaway.
I love this track. It's awesome that iRacing gives it to them, as a, it goes along with your purchase, your membership. It's a great track. A lot of fun racing I've had here at Charlotte. And another good one right now here tonight for the USRL 2018 Demon Sim Works Cup Series, the final race of the season. We're going to crown a champion here tonight, and it looks like it's going to be Todd Sargent. If I had a crystal ball, I would be able to tell you, but right now it looks like Todd Sargent's got this one in the bag if everything can keep going his way. Troy Radford moves up into 2nd as he got around the driver of the 32, Darren Clement, and Chris Mefford there just went a lap down to our leader now. It looks like Troy Radford's caught up to him, and Mefford moves to the high side, lets Troy to the inside there. Troy is in 2nd, but 7.9 seconds, about 8 seconds behind Todd Sargent. So Todd is really laying the smackdown on him, Steve.
Yeah, Todd Sargent still out front. But I believe that lead has dwindled just a bit, maybe 3 or 4 tenths in the past 2 laps. So Troy Radford trying everything he can to close that gap. He's actually in a good position. If Todd,
trouble!
Got a trouble on the back straightaway. He's pulled off the apron.
A hard hit on the backstretch on the inside wall there. The 97 of Jared Glenn. Looks like he made a little bit of contact with John Wimbish in the 56 machine and slams the inside wall hard, man. I tell you what, that's a lot of damage he took there on the 97 machine. And we seen it live, but we're still going to go back and take another look at that hard hit that he took as he came off of turn number 2 there with John Wimbish there on his inside. Here we go. Oh, he bounces off of the outside wall. John makes an evasive move to try to keep from making contact with Jerry Glenn. Jerry just couldn't hang on to it there, and he hits that wall on the inside and tears up the front end of his race car. So our first caution of the night, Steve. Anybody you want to talk to?
Let's pull up Troy Radford. Let him get through his pit sequence for the moment, and then chat with him after.
Yeah, make sure he gets in there and out. He might come out with the lead. He's got a good shot at it. Just make sure you don't spin those tires here. And we're approaching halfway. It's going to be about 70 laps to go when we go back green. And I wonder if they can make 35 laps. I believe John made 34.
Yeah, I believe it's possible. I think Tommy Haynes stayed out there for 35.
Yeah, it's going to be close here.
All right, well, we're going to pull up Troy Radford in that 94 into the SRTV broadcast booth. Troy Radford, you got a copy?
I do, Steve. How you doing, bud?
Doing good tonight. We just seen the first caution fall in the evening, and it happens to involve the points leader at the moment. John Wimbish got a little bit of front damage, so that leaves you and Todd Sargent as those chasing in the championship standings. We see you've got the lead through the pit stops. Todd's been really fast out on track, but this kind of opens a new door for both of you guys, seeing that John has a little bit of damage. And what do you think about that and your chances of winning this championship?
You know, of course, I hate to see John get any kind of damage. He was pretty quick tonight, but, you know, I always like my chances when you get out front. We still got a lot of racing to go, but I tell you what, just from seeing Todd out there, it might be a little short-lived with me up front. Todd is definitely very strong on the long run.
Yeah, and we've seen that long run speed. It's almost like it doesn't fall off, but he just does a good job of keeping the car clean and keeping his line smooth and consistent each lap. Something Jerry and I were talking about here throughout this race were the option of short pitting. We saw Todd the first on and off pit road that first cycle, and we won't ask you any specific strategy questions to keep them a secret, but anything up your sleeve in case you need to pull out something later on this race?
You know, at least from what I saw there from Todd, it seemed like short pitting was definitely the way to go. He gained a lot of seconds on me, and I really was not able to, even with 3-lap pressure tires, I was only able to reel him back in about 0.7 of a second. So, you know, hopefully it holds up like that if it's reversed, but I definitely, you know, I was having a hard time reeling him in even with fresh tires. So.
Well, Troy, thanks for the update, and we'll get you back down into your room, and good luck the rest of this race.
Yep, thank you.
That was the driver of your number 94 machine, currently sitting first out of pit road under yellow, and he's going to take us back green when we go back to it as the field doubles up. Jerry?
Big advantage for Troy. I mean, coming off of pit road, being able to take the lead there from Todd Sargent, and he's going to be the one to set these cars off into turn number 1 this time, and it's going to be all on Troy Radford when he gets the cue. The pace car leaves the racetrack, and that'll open up the door for him to be able to get a lead there over Todd Sargent. And Todd will have to run him down. It'll be a totally different story. This will be the first time that Todd has had a driver in front of him here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I'm not sure if they can make it on fuel as well. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, the advantage could be a big one being out front in the clean air. Like you said, we haven't seen Todd Sargent have to worry about passing anyone so far tonight. Pace car pulls off, and Troy Radford gets us back under green. Huge start for Troy Radford, and it's going to – Todd Sargent might lose the second one here to Darren Clement.
Yeah, Darren gets a good restart there. He's going to pull up on the inside there. Hold on, let's pull it up here. Todd Sargent on the outside. He might have the momentum coming down the backstretch, but not enough to clear the number 32 of Darren Clement just yet as Darren keeps it to the inside. Contact Todd Sargent.
Sargent in the wall.
Great save there. I believe no caution under this one here, and that's really going to hurt Todd Sargent. I'm not sure who had the most damage. Maybe
Caution.
John Wimbish. Yeah, the caution is out now. 2 hurt race cars back here. The 42 of Eric Driggins and John T. Wimbish. John, that might have ended his hopes for a championship here. Let's go back and take a look on the replay, as we did see that live. I do want to see it one more time. What a save by Todd Sargent.
Yeah, Todd Sargent, I don't believe hit anything. He just got a little contact there from the 32 machine, but no damage showing on his car. Did a great job to keep that off the wall.
It looks like John backs off just a little bit on the straightaway. They check up in front of him. Clement makes contact with Todd Sargent, and Eric Driggins crosses across the front of the nose of John Wimbish's car there, and that really puts a lot of damage on the number 56. As you see, all the front end damage on that Z01 Demon Racing chassis, number 56 of John Wimbish. Wow, I hate to see it for John. He's had a great season here. And also Todd Sargent. What a save. What do you think about that save there?
Yeah, an incredible save. It's almost like his season flashed before his eyes, and you know, he had to come up with some sort of trick to make it work. If he would have hit the wall there, then you know, obviously his race would have changed tremendously. And you see Troy Radford stay out on track. Yeah, everybody else is going down pit road. Only did about a half a lap under green there, so not going to see tremendous fall off from Troy tires wise, but everybody else is going to be just a bit fresher. But yeah, back to Todd Sargent, man, what a save there, keeping his season alive. And like you mentioned, hate to see it with John Wimbish receiving just a little more damage there to that 56 machine. It's really going to make the rest of his evening difficult in fighting off these few other championship contenders.
Yeah, it really takes the wind out of your sail there when you get any kind of damage on a racetrack like this, especially when it goes as green as it has been. Todd Sargent's car, though, it looks like Todd Sargent doesn't have any damage. Maybe we can take a closer look here, but I don't see any damage on the 30 machine. So not only was it a great save, but a lot of luck there to keep the fenders straight on there. Ed Morris. They're asking what happened to Ed Morris. Well, Ed Morris, he's in the pits right now, the number 7, and that will end his night. Oh, maybe not. Maybe he's just getting some, I thought he took it behind the wall there for a second, but it looks like he is fine there. Let's take a look at his race car. I don't see a whole lot of damage on that number 7 machine. He is having some connection issues, I believe, right now, which is making it tough on him, which might be another reason why he drops to the back here in the number 7, because we know he has a fast race car and it belongs up front. But Ed Morris still looking clean out there and definitely fast. Tommy Haynes, your new leader up front, the number 17, takes over race control here. Todd Sargent's going to start in 2nd place after a dramatic event.
Interesting move there by Troy to give up the race lead and come into the pits the second go around. Especially since those incidents have removed a few cars from competition. I think I would have stayed out even with, you know, you got a half a lap worse tires, so it's not going to be that much of a difference, but I'm guessing he thought it would be enough of a difference maybe on fuel to come down and top off for fuel and maybe take a pit stop out of the equation.
I was thinking maybe he'd come in just to make sure, get that extra splash of gas he may have needed to make this thing to the end here. Looks like they got, what, 67 laps to go. So, yeah, it'll be close on fuel. So, not a bad idea for Troy Radford there. We got another driver coming down pit road. Looks like Chris Meffert is going to bring it on down. Well, he's got a lot of damage on the 46 machine. Looks like right front mostly and right side there all scratched up. So tough race for him so far.
Yeah, and this is going to put Tommy Haynes, like you said, back to the lead. Todd Sargent's going to be starting outside in the 2nd position. It looks like Troy's going to be starting back in 5th now. John's going to have a little bit of a tough time with the aero damage. We're going to have to see how that plays out, but very interesting move there from the 94 car to give up the lead the second go around and take a pit stop. My guess is it was for fuel, but you know, making that move, you give up that position you had on Todd Sargent, who we've seen be dominant out on track tonight. So
I totally agree. And Ed Morris,
see if it plays off.
He also came down pit road on that last time by to top it off one more time. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't think he has any damage, so it has to be for fuel. Unless he just wants to drop to the back here. They're doubled up and they're getting set to go green here. The pace car pulls off, and it's on Tommy Haynes this time with Todd Sargent on his outside. Tommy hammers down, gets a good jump as expected there. Todd Sargent not fighting anyone as they dive down into turn number 1. Our first battle is John Wimbish and Darren Clement.
And as they run, Tommy Haynes out front, but John Wimbish takes back over that third position through 3 and 4. So as they run, John Wimbish is your championship leader.
John Wimbish in third with a damaged race car. Did he get a new car? Just get the damage fixed or what?
I think he's just wheeling it around this place. He's in third position, but he's got a fast 94 machine right behind him.
Well, we'll find out how much damage he has when Troy Rafford pulls up on him, because Troy still got a clean race car. He only came in and gave up that lead just to get some more fuel and some tires. He's already back up to 4th, looking to the inside of John Wimbish here as they come through the front stretch of Charlotte.
Yeah, now that I do a few of the numbers, we've seen drivers make it at least 35 laps here on a tank of fuel. So now that we're past the lap 50 mark, you know, coming back and topping off for fuel makes this a 2-stop race. So that is probably the reason why everybody came back down there towards the end of that caution. You've got Tommy Haynes out. He's defending Todd Sargent in second. And I still think how they run, John Wimbish is your championship leader at the moment. But Troy Radford closing in on these front two really, really quickly.
Yeah, Troy's flying right now. Todd Sargent just got to the back of Tommy Haynes here. Both of them running the bottom lanes. They come off of turn number 4 to complete lap number 58 and on to 59. Todd Sargent's just lurking in the mirror of Tommy Haynes right now. No pressure.
Yeah, and this is the best opportunity Troy Radford's going to have for getting up to Todd Sargent and getting around him because he's going to have to deal with the 17 for the lead. And like we said, this is pretty much a must-win for Troy if he wants the championship. And with John Wimbish so close behind, it's a must-win for Todd as well.
Yeah, and if Troy can win this championship, he will have a shot at it. Still not sure if he'll be able to get it done. Just depends on where the other drivers finish, how that all plays out. But I believe Troy's only shot at this, and that is just a small shot, is if he gets the win, gets those bonus points. I believe he'll get 5 for the win and 1 for leading a lap. Well, that'll be close. Depends on where the other drivers wind up.
Yeah, I think it would need John to finish maybe 5th or worse, maybe actually 6th or worse. So it'd be a long shot. You see the 97 of Jerry Glenn getting out of the way for the leaders here. And my thought is that still Todd Sargent's going to have to get by Tommy Haynes here. Otherwise, this championship still falls on John Wimbish.
John holding on to that 4th spot, not letting go. He's got a good grip onto it right now, but guess what? Here comes Ed Morris there. I believe Ed's a lap down. Ed's looking to get a lap back, so if a caution comes out, that'll work out in Ed Morris's favor. Ed's got a fast race car, the number 7, but he is 1 lap down right now. Not sure how he went a lap down. Maybe on pit road.
Yeah, it could have been connection issues, could have been pit road penalties, or a number of other things. Not quite sure, but he's still got a clean race car, so if we do see a yellow come out, he'll get that lap back, as he is the first car 1 lap down.
And I'd love to see Ed get his lap back. As much as I don't want to see a caution, I still wouldn't mind seeing Ed get his lap back. I like Ed. Ed's a Marine. I believe he's retired. He might still be active, but he is a Marine, so I'm a big fan of him. The Marines are some tough, what do you call them, SOBs? Is that what they say?
Absolutely. And, many thanks goes out to all the armed forces out there.
Amen to that. Tommy Haynes is holding them off, Steve.
I was about to say, we got a tight battle up here in the top three. Troy Radford up to the bumper. Todd Sargent. Todd Sargent right to the bumper. 17 and Tommy Haynes. Close battle for the lead here.
I believe Troy's starting to put pressure on Todd there. Todd's starting to say, all right, well, I'll start moving a little bit faster here, but Tommy Haynes is able to hold him off for now. Still single file up front. Tommy Haynes, Todd Sargent, and Troy Radford, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Todd Sargent probably backed off just a little, thinking, hey, I've got a little bit better long run speed than a few of these guys, and I might as well just wait around till then. Troy Radford not having any of it. He's getting up to push the precedent, make sure Todd Sargent, you know, has to use up his equipment. Otherwise, he's going to try and put some pressure on for the pass. So,
Ed Moore showing his car up in the mix here, and I hate to see him a lap down. Like I said, he's 14 points out coming into the race here tonight. So he is another long shot to get this championship, but not impossible, I don't believe, with these bonus points in play here. So he'd have to get his lap back for sure to get that done, and he'd also have to win to have a shot at it here.
And Todd Sargent all over the back bumper of Tommy Haynes down the back straightaway there. Now they go through 3 and 4, and he is lurking. It's looking like Todd Sargent's able to keep it right down on that white line through the corner. Tommy Haynes has to drift up a bit, and that could come to hurt him on corner exit.
And we got a great race going on here right now. Todd is getting a little bit better run there through the center, but Tommy Haynes somehow able to keep it out in front of Todd Sargent. And Todd doing the right thing, keeping the pressure on Tommy Haynes. And if Tommy makes that one mistake, he'll be there to attack and take over the lead here at Charlotte for the final race of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no pressure really right now until Troy Radford turns that pressure back up for Todd Sargent to make any dumb moves.
Oh, wiggles.
Close battle loose off of turn 2 there from the 17 machine. Todd Sargent keeps it off of him and keeps it clean and green. But like I was saying, Todd Sargent, no pressure to force anything right now. Just keep the pressure up and hope for a mistake. But now he's got pressure from behind the 94 machine back on that rear bumper of the 30.
And what a move there by Todd. He seen it coming there and made an evasive move to keep it green here. No contact, I don't believe, there off of turn number 2 last time by. And Tommy's still leading this one here. Lap number 70 about to be complete.
Yeah, and look to see some green flag pit stops in the not too distant future as you got Todd Sargent going to the inside of Tommy Haynes. Might be a pass for the lead.
Yeah, persistence seems to pay off here. He kept the pressure on the 17 just enough to move to the inside of him there, but looks like the high side is going to pay off with that momentum being a little bit better up top than down on the bottom. Not the easiest pass to make here at Charlotte, but definitely not impossible here. It looks like he's going to take another stab at it to the inside. They come across the line there side by side. Still, Tommy Haynes was scored as the leader that time by. Tommy pushes up the racetrack. Todd keeps it planted on the bottom. And off of turn number 2, still a drag race down the backstretch side by side, but Todd just can't get the run off of turn 2 that he needs. And Tommy Haynes hangs on to the lead.
Yeah, now Todd Sargent's got Troy Radford to his outside. It just makes it so difficult at this racetrack. Like Troy was saying as we talked to him under yellow, that clean air out front is a huge advantage. And like we had mentioned, we hadn't had to see Todd Sargent make any passes so far tonight, and it's proven to be a difficult challenge.
Yeah, they're. I think they might have figured out if they can run that high line there and keep that momentum built up, it makes it really hard to pass on the bottom.
Yeah, and the issue I'm seeing from the bottom lane car is that it's just getting too loose if you're too far down on the bottom, or it's pushing up and you got to get out of the gas before you hit that outside lane car. So Todd might have to find a way to get some outside position through the corner. If I'm Tommy Haynes, I'm protecting that high side as much as possible.
Yeah, and if he can keep the pressure on Tommy too, you know, every little mistake will add up. What a race we got going on here. We're past halfway of this one. It's going to be about 45 laps to go, and they're running close up front for that #1 spot. Tommy Haynes, man, he knows what he's doing out there. To be able to hold off Todd Sargent for this long, that goes to show you how fast that 17 really is, as he is still leading laps out there. Todd just can't get the pass complete down on the bottom of the racetrack, but he's going to try it one more time, and they're going to go side by side through 1 and 2 once again. Tommy Haynes way up next to the wall just like last time, and Todd Sargent kept it on the bottom there, and this time he gets a better run down the backstretch, was able to stay side by side with Tommy, and on into turn number 3. This might be the lap that he gets it done, and he does. Tommy Haynes moves to second. We got our new leader, Todd Sargent, not so new leader. He's going to retake the lead.
And here in this situation, if I'm Troy Radford, seeing that Todd Sargent just got the lead back, I'd almost be down on pit road as soon as I can. You know, you can get 35 laps per full fuel run. You still got, you know, we're coming to lap 78 of 120, so you can't make it on one more stop.
Yeah, one stop. One stop. Come in at 85 and run the sucker out. If they can make it to 85, they'll be able to run this thing out on one stop, Steve.
Yep. And I would be the first one as soon as it's possible to get that fuel, especially now that Todd Sargent's back out on the lead. But Tommy Haynes hasn't fallen back too far.
You know, Steve, I would almost make it to where, you know, if you can only get 35 laps, I would try to make 36 out of it just to get that extra lap on them. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out, who's going to come in first, but short pitting might be the way to go to get that lead. You see how hard it is for somebody to get around you. It took Todd Sargent an extremely fast race car and like 3, maybe 4 attempts to get that lead from Tommy Haynes. So getting out front and getting that clean air and being able to run that preferred line there. Looks like the preferred line is the high line when it comes to passing.
Yeah, but Tommy Haynes back up to the bumper of the 30 machine. He might not be finished with that lead.
Yeah, and he's really working that high. Let's take a lap around here with Tommy Haynes one time and see how he does it here in 1 and 2. Getting right up next to the inside wall. Let's see what he does this time. He's using the bottom now, so we didn't get to ride with him on the high line through 1 and 2. But it looks like the car's maybe getting a little bit loose there on exit. Kind of a late, snappy loose style. Just depends. I really couldn't tell that much by riding on board with him, but Todd's starting to pull away from him.
Yeah, and a big gap back to third place, Troy Radford now, so not what Troy and John Wimbish wanted to see was Todd Sargent back out front in command of this race, but
I believe Troy Radford just had some trouble. Let's take a look on the replay. I want to go back because I'm not sure if he did or not. Yeah, he gets loose off of 4 and slams the inside or the outside wall there coming across the start finish line. As we're watching on the replay here, a lot of right side damage there for Troy Radford. Let's take another look one more time. As it comes off of turn number 4. Oh. Yeah, no caution here, so it stays green. But hard hit for Troy Radford there. Troy going to be on pit road now.
That actually might end Troy's night. He has disconnected, so that might put him out of the picture.
Yeah, I believe so. And, you know, I just said it when I was on board with Tommy Haynes that it felt, well, it looked like it felt like it had a late snap on it. Kind of a loose late snap. That's a weird thing to say, but
that was all the way, you know, almost at the start-finish line, so you guys are still fighting the cars almost halfway down the straightaway.
I hate to see it for Troy Radford, though.
Yeah, and John Wimbish, taking a look through at the championship contenders, John Wimbish on pit road, coming off now, exiting.
Yeah, and that hurt race car, man. I mean, didn't stay in there too long, get any work done. Looks like he had about 15-second stop, so he didn't get any work done to it.
Todd Sargent spins it out coming on pit road.
Oh, no.
So he's going to lose a ton of time as he's getting it straightened back up, but that's going to hurt him just a bit.
Yeah, that's a big mistake. Let's take a look one more time here, because that is a critical error made by Todd Sargent here. And we're looking as he comes down into the last turn here. Turn number 4, down onto the apron. Tries to get it woed down, and it just comes around. He doesn't hit anything, but he loses a lot of that time. Gets it whipped back around straight pretty quick, but still lost a few seconds there. And a few seconds is an eternity.
And the big play for that was Tommy Haynes was so close behind him. Tommy Haynes getting on and off pit road right now has a clean entry, but if Tommy Haynes is able to get off pit road cleanly, he's going to have quite a bit of a gap now back to Todd Sargent, and Todd Sargent needs the win with where John Wimbish is running to win this championship.
Yeah, Tommy Haynes might win this race here tonight, and if that happens, that'll eliminate the 5 bonus points that these drivers will have. That these drivers will be able to take advantage of, like Todd Sargent or John Wimbish or Ed Morris, which Ed's still a lap down, I believe. But Tommy Haynes, he come into tonight, he's a little bit further back, 31 points, so he's probably not going to have a shot at the championship. But if he gets the win, that will take that 5 extra point cushion away from Todd Sargent.
Yeah, and as I'm watching it now, Todd Sargent's even behind Wimbish as they run on track, and Tommy Haynes a bit of a gap up from them too. So Todd Sargent's got quite a bit of work to do. Not only is he going to have to get by the 56, but he's going to have to, you know, close a lot of track position up to Tommy Haynes here in the next 30 or so laps.
And John, you know, he's the driver that he's fighting for the championship. John not going to let him by easy there. Made it a little bit more difficult than he probably would have any other time. And Todd does get around him there. But if John, you know, can hold up Todd Sargent just a little bit, that'll give Tommy a better chance at getting the win and those 5 bonus points. Todd Sargent right now 1.9 seconds behind Tommy Haynes, and he's going to have about 30 laps to try to run down our leader here, the 17. You think he can do it, Steve?
Yeah, there's just about a 2-second gap now between them. I think he's got the talent in the car to do it. Absolutely. The issue is he's going to have worn out tires once he gets up to him. And we saw how difficult Tommy Haynes made it to pass, you know, just a handful of laps ago. It almost took that entire fuel run for Todd Sargent to get by him when he started right behind him. So now he's going to have, you know, he's got an uphill battle. He's going to have to close the gap, and then he's going to have to get by him with worn out tires. So for Tommy Haynes, you got to be thinking keep the lead as big as you can for as long as you can, but you've also got the ability to save your tires quite a bit, knowing the guy behind you is going to have to use up his equipment.
And I couldn't have answered that any better. I mean, you nailed it on that one. You know, all of that is definitely a factor here. Todd Sargent has his work cut out for him after making a mistake coming on to pit row and spinning that thing around. So we'll see what happens here. 27 laps to go.
Yeah, a huge turn of events, especially with John Wimbish now running third. It's a must-win situation for Todd Sargent if he wants to win this championship. And like I said, it's mistakes on pit road, like we talked about in pre-race, getting on and off pit road cleanly under green flag conditions, and we see it bite Todd Sargent right there.
Yeah, if John can maintain that third position, you know, Todd would have to win to take on the championship. So John's making it tough on him, not going to give up and just put it behind the wall. He's going to stay out there and run some laps. And looking at the lap times out there, our leader, Tommy Haynes, he ran a 29.1. Todd Sargent with a 28.8, so about 0.3 of a second faster. John Wimbish with the damage, he ran a 29.3. He's 0.2 slower than our leader, Tommy Haynes, and about 5/10 slower than Todd Sargent. Right now, Todd Sargent looks to be the fastest car on the racetrack, and he has closed that gap to 1.6, but it took him about 3 or 4 laps to get those 0.3. He actually got them in 1 lap.
And he actually just lost a 10th there that last time by.
Absolutely. He lost one of them, so he gains 3, loses 1. So, he, only 0.2 he made up there. He's 1.6, 1.7 back.
And we're still not sure if Tommy Haynes is even pushing it as hard as he can. We know Todd Sargent is right on that bottom line through the corners, trying to get the most of every corner he can. But Tommy Haynes can kind of just ride right now, be smooth and consistent. Make sure you keep it clean, and not really push your car until you have to. If Todd Sargent gets right up to your bumper.
Yeah, I agree, Todd, and even Ricky Brandon, he agrees as well. But Tommy Haynes can just kind of ride. Right now, he's not really riding. He's throwing down some pretty good laps. Both of them ran a 29.2 that lap. Todd Sargent was just a couple hundredths faster.
And Todd's got Ed Morris right behind him. Even though Ed is a lap down, having that arrow right behind you might hurt you just a little bit with Tommy Haynes out in complete clean air, nobody behind him, nobody in front of him. We're about to come to lap 100 next time by the start-finish line out of 120 laps this evening. Time is running out for Todd Sargent to win this championship. Still about a 1.5 second gap he's got to close, and then he's got to get by the number 17 machine of Tommy Haynes, who's looking for another win on the season.
Well, if he can at least get to the 17, he might be able to battle him side by side, coming to the start-finish line for the checkered flag and maybe get him by a nose. He don't technically have to pass him, and we know how hard it was last time. Like you said, it was really hard. Tommy Haynes did not let him go easily, and it took him about 3 or 4 times to get around him. He finally did, but this is going to be a little bit different. Todd, we know, is out there pushing that car to the limit, but so is Tommy Haynes. Tommy Haynes still ticking off a little bit faster lap than Todd Sargent that time, about a 0.5 tenth maybe.
And excuse me, this would be Tommy Haynes' first win on the season, so he's going to be driving just a little bit harder, make sure he gets that win.
Yeah, and John Wimbish wouldn't mind that at all. He's probably cheering him on the radio. Come on, Tommy, get that win. Because if Tommy Haynes gets the win, Todd Sargent, it's going to be close, but I don't think he'll have enough points to get John Wimbish. If John finishes in third and Todd finishes first,
Yeah,
then that'll be for sure, but yeah.
An 8-second gap between John Wimbish and the next car back, so he's pretty much just got to keep it off the wall the rest of this way, and if Todd Sargent doesn't win the race, then John's going to be your championship, so really the pressure is on that 30 machine. He's cut the gap just a little bit more, but we're on lap 103 of 120, so...
Well, the 46 of Chris Mefford is in 4th right now. He is running a little bit faster than John Wimbish, but the problem is he's too far back. 7 seconds, or actually, let's see, he's 7 seconds back from, John, so he's not going to have enough time to run down and finish 3rd, I don't believe, here in about 15, 16 laps. Tommy Haynes, he has lost a little bit of that lead. It's down to 1.15.
And we see Tommy Haynes on the high side through that. Yeah, the gap is shrinking, that's for sure, but I have to point out, Tommy Haynes is John Wimbish's teammate, so he is not going to make it easy whatsoever once that 30 gets up to him, if he does. Got about 15 laps left in this one next time by. Main thing here for Todd Sargent, even though he's got to push the car to get up to Tommy Haynes, he's got to make sure he doesn't overdrive it and hit the corners on exit or get loose on exit. You've still got to push it a little bit harder, but make sure you keep it clean. Otherwise, you sort of throw away your chances.
Todd Sargent is on a mission right now. He's knocked it down to 0.7 of a second, a high 7, but he is knocking it down. He's biting into that lead. It's about 0.8 of a second, so it's been fluctuating a little bit that lap or so. I believe he has enough time to tear into that 0.7. It will be close. It just depends on Tommy Haynes.
Yeah, if he keeps up the pace he's had the last few laps, cutting it down about half the distance in the past 2 laps alone, then he will definitely make his way up to the rear bumper of the 17 machine. But it will all be determined on whether or not he can get by him.
Ed Morris not able to get back on the lead lap yet. Still 1 lap down, right behind Todd Sargent in the number 7 machine. And I'm not sure if having somebody behind you will help you or hurt you here. But either way, still about 0.7 there separating 1 and 2. Take a look at the weather one more time, because that does play a factor on this thing, how these cars handle. And we started, I believe it was 83, and it's down to 72 now, so that might give these drivers a little bit more grip as the track cools down.
Yeah, and like we saw early on in the race, Todd had a dominant first fuel run compared to everybody else. Now that track is cooled off, that adds a lot of grip for everybody else. The track could have come to Tommy Haynes, as we see him still just a tad slower than Todd Sargent, but a lot faster than he was in the beginning of the race. And we saw how difficult he made it for Todd Sargent to get by him the first time. So Tommy Haynes picked up the speed here as this race has gone on, led a lot of laps here in the later part of this race, and has a good chance at winning this thing as we're down into the single digits of laps remaining.
Yeah, he's figured something out here. Started off a little bit slow. Not slow, but, not as quick as he is now here. And Todd Sargent narrowed it down to about 0.4 of a second. Makes a little bit of a mistake there. Loses 0.2 there, so that's going to hurt. Now he's only got, I believe, 9 more laps when they cross the start-finish line this time to knock off a 1/2 of a second at least to get to the back bumper of Tommy Haynes there, the number 17.
Yeah, it's going to be close here in the closing laps, whether or not he can get up to Tommy Haynes. who's looking to pick up his first win of the season here in the season finale at Charlotte.
And I can hear John Wimbish right now on the radio with his teammate Tommy Haynes, like, hit your marks, remain calm, you know, telling him all those things that you want to tell a driver to make sure they stay focused and win this thing. And he's doing it right now. And he's actually increasing that gap, that distance between him and Todd Sargent. It's going up to about 7/10 after being down to 4/10.
Yeah, and that could be a condition of, you know, we saw Todd Sargent cut that lead from 1.5 seconds down to 7/10 of a second, you know, within a span of 2 laps. He could have simply just overdriven the car there for a few laps and burned his tires up. We're seeing him fall back little by little here these last 2 laps. So Tommy Haynes could have just been, you know, saving equipment there while Todd pushed it to try and close the gap.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that may be how Todd gained that much on him there. You know, it was about 1.9, a high 1.9, so about 2 seconds is where it started here when we went after they made that pit stop. And like I said, he's got it down to 7/10 of a second. So Tommy could have been taking it easy there, letting Todd burn his stuff up. And now he's got a little bit more than Todd here as the race comes winding to a close.
And one distinct thing I've seen through 3 and 4 all night from Tommy Haynes is he's about a lane to half a lane up higher through 3 and 4 than Todd Sargent is. So that puts a little bit less wear and tear on those tires each time through the corner. Todd Sargent right down on the white line through the corners.
Yeah, and John getting that critical bonus point for leading a lap to make sure that he has enough to close the deal. John just out there riding right now, holding on to that 3rd spot. Chris Mefford still 5.8 seconds back, so John has no pressure on him as we are 4 laps to go to close out the season here for the USRL 2018 Demon Simworks Cup Series. Todd Sargent back to 4/10 of a second and coming to 3 to go this time by. Can Tommy Haynes hold him off for 3 more laps, or will Todd Sargent, look at that, 2/10, 3/10. It's bouncing.
The gap really closing now. Todd Sargent giving everything he's got left in the car as we wind down the laps here, coming this time by to 119 of 120. So just 2 laps to go here in Charlotte.
Todd gave it everything he had there, and coming off of 2, you seen the car wiggle as he almost got into the outside wall there, but he's got it down to 2/10, 2 more tenths to go, and he'll have a win. But I doubt Tommy's going to make it easy on him. We're going to have to wait and see, because this is coming to 1 to go. The white flag is going to be pulled out and waving for Tommy Haynes when he comes across the line this time by. One more time around.
And Todd Sargent not going away yet, down to 1/10 through 1 and 2. Tommy Haynes just got to make this lap mistake-free, and he should come away with the win. But Todd Sargent right behind him down the back straightaway.
Does he turn him? Does he turn him for the win and the championship? Or
Todd
can
Sargent
he?
trying as hard as he's going up to the outside into the wall. And that's going to be it. Tommy Haynes in the 17 is going to win here tonight at Charlotte.
Oh, I hate to see it for Todd Sargent, but what a, I mean, you can't knock him for trying. He tried with every bit of car that he had left there, and I would have did the same thing. I'd have hit that wall. I'd have tried to get as much as I could out of it there. Coming off of turn number 4. Wow, what an ending to a great season here. Tommy Haynes is going to walk away with the win, and if I'm not mistaken, John Wimbish has this one wrapped up. Maybe you can go down to the pits and talk to the driver of the number 56 and see what they say. as I take these guys through the race results for tonight's race. Our winner, Tommy Haynes, doing burnout, celebrating his win at Charlotte Motor Speedway for race number 14, the final race of the season. Congratulations to the driver of the number 17, Team Demon Racing, is going to put this one on the board. Let's take you through our race results tonight. Tommy Haynes, Todd, Sargent, and John Wimbish is going to be your top three. Chris Mefford, Darren Clement, Ed Morris, Troy Radford, Eric Driggins, Jerry Glenn, and Ray Radford. And tonight was the last race because the drivers that wasn't competing for the championship just decided not to show up. And I hate to see that out there. So if you're a driver and you're competing in a league, and just because you don't have the points, you don't show up, hey man, that's not right. We want you out there on the track. Every car matters. All those drivers are a point per, at least 1 point each. And with it being 1 point per position, it makes it hard on us. So hey, league owners, start making it more than 1 point per position. I'm tired of it. We don't have 43 cars. We need more points per position. But either way, Tommy Haynes is going to get the win in the number 17. He led 60 laps, led the most laps here tonight. And I believe Todd Sargent, he led 49 laps. Okay. With a dominating performance here by Todd Sargent early on. He just makes that one mistake getting on and off of pit road. Coming in, he spun it around. And that's where he lost that 2 seconds there, but he gave it all he could to run down the number 17. Just didn't have enough there on that last lap. So Tommy Haynes going to close out the season with a win. Todd Sargent's going to come in a close second. And third place is going to go to John T. Wimbish. And we're waiting on our good friend Steve Baker to come back into the booth here. He's going to give us some information on tonight's race as we get to take you through the driver interviews for tonight. We're going to be talking to John T. Wimbish, Todd Sargent, and Tommy Haynes. So if you're out there and you know one of these drivers, you want to ask them a question, type it out in the chat. Let me know who it is and what you want to ask them, and we'll try to talk to them and get that answered for you in their driver interview coming right up. But I believe John T. Wimbish is going to be our champion for tonight's, or for this season, for the 2018 Demon SimWorks Cup Series. And he's well deserving of a championship. Very clean, hard driver. And he had 4 wins this season. Todd Sargent had 3 wins, and 2 of them was back-to-back of the last 2 races. Steve Baker, what you got for us?
I was down there talking with timing and scoring, and the statistics are in, and the championship winner by 1 point is John Wimbish.
Wow. I kind of knew it was going to be him. If Todd could have got the point for leading the most laps, they would have made it even. So that was really close. Too close for me to call. That's why I wanted you to confirm it. But hey, let's get a word in with our second place finisher. We'll go ahead and talk to our winner tonight. Let's talk to Tommy. Pull Tommy up here. Tommy Haynes, it's Jay Weezy. You got a copy?
Loud and clear, Jay Weezy.
Hey, man, you finally parked that thing in victory lane. I've been waiting on you to get a win here. Your first race of the season is going to come on the final race of the season. Started off a little bit slow, man, but you picked it up. You had a fast race car at the end, man. What'd you find out there?
I just conserving tires there a little bit. I know Todd was super fast on that first couple runs, man. He was in another zip code, but got them cautions right there. I got bunched back up and just hung with them. And like I said, I come out that one time, took a lead, and I led that one section to the pit stops. And Todd passed me there right before we pitted. And I don't know what happened to Todd there, but I come back out in the lead. I had, I don't know, about a 2-second lead, and I knew if I could keep it on the bottom, it'd be hard to pass because I wasn't coming off the bottom. He'd had to wreck me to pass me.
Hey, absolutely. And we seen him try to get around you that first time when he finally got it done. It took him 3 tries. You had that high line working, man. Made it hard for him to get by on the bottom. But I think the main thing that happened tonight was the green flag pit stops, man. How important was it to get on and off pit road? How hard was it to get on and off pit road?
I'm going to tell you what, green flag pit stops is not my forte. I kind of suck at it, but I knew I couldn't spin out getting to pit road, and I needed to make sure I was 50 miles an hour at the cone to keep my speed because I lose a whole lot of time when I had to pit on the green. I just ain't used to it and ain't good at it, but tonight it, paid off. So, hey
man, you did it tonight, and I'm glad to see you in victory lane here to end the season, to go out with a bang, man, with the flag, the checkered flag here at Charlotte for the Demon Simworks 2018 USRL Cup Series. Congratulations, Tommy. Anybody want to thank?
I'll thank Demon Simworks, Autos by Nelson, John Wimbish for putting this league on. Can't wait to see what's in store for next season. Thank y'all for broadcasting, and I'm getting married this coming Saturday, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, no. Congratulations, Tommy, man. I don't know whether to be happy for you or not, but hey, man. No, man, congratulations. I'm glad you found the one. And hey, man, can't wait to talk to you. Good luck next season as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'll see you later on.
See you, Tommy. Tommy Haynes, man, he said he's going to celebrate with a wedding. He's going to get married. All right, let's pull up our second place finisher here tonight. And not only tonight, but our second place finisher in the point standings by 1 point. Todd Sargent started on the pole and he led 49 laps, made one critical mistake coming on the pit road and lost 2 seconds there to Tommy Haynes, but he ran him down, but just couldn't get to the back bumper of the 17, and he's going to come home second tonight. Todd Sargent, you got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Oh, man. It let the wind out of my sails where when I seen you go around, I knew you could do it. I knew you could get back to him. I knew it was going to be tough because it was a 2-second gap between you and Tommy. What kept you from getting to the back bumper there and being able to compete for that win?
Yeah, I had about an 8-second lead there to get going. That clean air sure was nice out front. I felt like it was going to be another caution-free race. I was going to cruise on to the title, but didn't work out that way, and then about got took out a couple laps later. I was lucky not to have any damage. I don't know if I did or not. My car felt a lot slower after that, but hats off to Tommy and hats off to John for winning the title. I couldn't get around Tommy there. I don't know if the wind was different. He was running on that high line, and I've been practicing on the low side all week, but hats off to them guys for pulling it out tonight.
Hey, man, hats off to you. You come into this thing, the chase started, you was about 20 some odd points behind, and you won those 2 races, and you really narrowed it down, coming in tonight by 3 points behind John, I believe. But yeah, I seen that incident with you. What a save, man. I'm sure your race flashed before your eyes there. You was able to hang on to it. I don't think you got any damage off of that. It doesn't look like it, but you never know here on iRacing by looking, but you would know out there in the car. You guys were both fast, running about the same lap times there for a while, but you gave it one shot, man. I'm telling you, you come in, and tonight I thought I was all aboard the Todd Sargent train. I really thought you were going to be able to pull that off, man. Just that one mistake, I believe, cost you the championship, but coming into the chase, you was 20 some odd points behind, so you really stepped it up to give yourself a shot at this, man. So you got to tip your hat to yourself. You really did an outstanding job coming in winning 2 races in a row, man. You pretty much dominated here tonight. I believe you were the car to beat. So I hate to see it for you, Todd, man, but give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking coming from that far back, being that close to winning it all, but just wasn't perfect enough to win the title, I reckon. So
no.
Hats off to John, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, keep your head up, though, man, because you definitely got a fast car, and I love watching you out there on the track. You're just really, really consistent, really fast. You know what you're doing out there, and you definitely deserve a title. You just come up one short here tonight, man. But congratulations on a great season, on a great race out there tonight. Anybody want to thank for the season, for the race?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Bruce Potter for being the team owner. He couldn't be here tonight. He actually went to see Jeff Foxworthy, so I guess he left a little more than I am right now. So
yeah.
John for putting the league on, you guys for coming in every week broadcasting. My brother painted me a nice looking car tonight. You couldn't miss it. I don't know why I got ran into there about halfway through the race, but yeah, it was a fun season. Thank you guys for coming aboard.
Hey man, absolutely, and I really enjoyed calling your races here, and I was, like I said, I thought you had this one, man. But hey man, there's always next time, and keep your head up. It was always fun talking to you, Todd. Good job.
Hey, thank you guys.
All right, that was Todd Sargent. Let's pull up our champion. He's going to come across the line to finish the race here with a little bit of damage on his car. But somehow, some way, he managed to pull it off in third tonight after starting fifth, getting caught up in some stuff and getting some damage on that machine. He was able to lead 2 laps to get that bonus point that he needed to be able to win by 1 point. John Wimbish, is Jay Weezy, you got a copy?
Yeah, buddy, I got you.
I tell you what, man, I thought it was over for you, John. That was a pretty hard hit.
Yeah, I don't know what happened right there. Just hard racing. To be expected last race. But yeah, I thought it was really going to kill the car there. And I mean, it didn't help. But I pitted real early there and had to save towards the end, or I was going to run out and lose another daggone spot. But I had when Todd pitted on the first round of pit stops there, I was going to come in at 30. Then I saw that he came in at 30, and I knew, I was like, man, I've got to get a point for leading the lap. And so I decided to stay out there. And actually, Tommy and I, there were no team orders or nothing. I just got underneath him and just stayed in it and wound up leading. That lap there, so I knew I had at least that one, but come down to it, that's what we needed.
Yeah, every point counted tonight, especially only winning the championship by 1 point. After coming into the pits, getting that thing fixed, when you went back out on the track, was you surprised at your car in any way?
Yeah, I'm surprised it's still running.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly where I was going. I was really surprised to see it still being able to run up in the top 3. I know there wasn't a whole lot of cars here tonight, which is another reason why tonight was the final race. You were going to cancel next week. But yeah, man, I was surprised to see how fast the car actually was out there after that hard hit.
I really just got, body damage more than anything, I think, because I saw the wreck happening and I was able to slow up, but I think Eric Driggins was in front of me and he was trying to check up, so we were all on the binders, but it just wasn't good enough. And when I got into him, it just kept pushing us together and kind of in the wall right there. But it's probably a lot more body damage than anything, and it drove a little different after that. I was having to turn the wheel more than I was before, so probably messed with the toe and all that good stuff. But had I hit him, harder and not been checking up, yeah, it had been over with for sure.
Yeah, and coming into the chase, you had a pretty nice little lead there. Todd Sargent about 20 points back. He really put in a lot of work to get a shot at this championship, man. How worried was you coming into tonight?
I was worried enough that I stayed out knowing that was dumb to lead a lap.
Right.
I kind of knew with him pitting there, I said, man, we can't really afford to stay out, lose time. But I said, I need a point too. But, Todd has done a terrific job, man. I don't think his run all season long is really proof of what he's been able to do. I think he's proved himself a lot here in the last, 6-7 races. I mean, he's done a tremendous job, really. And especially when it came down to crunch time. I know he put a lot of practice in, a lot of work. So, but he did a hell of a job, man. Really impressive. And yeah, for sure had me worried, but it's racing, man. It is what it is. Things shake out the way they're going to shake out. And
that's right.
If he'd have won it, I'd be happy for him and all that. But wound up taking it by one stinking point. So
yeah, you know, and in hindsight, you know, you ought to be glad you stayed out to get that 1 point. There would be a race off or something. I don't know how y'all would do it, but yeah, man, tight season, great season, man. I appreciate you for letting me be up here in the booth, me and Steve.
yeah, man, we've enjoyed it. I'd like to thank all the guys here that run and you know, chose to run here all season long. I know guys got family stuff and things have been coming up. You know, we just do this for fun. We have a broadcast for fun so guys can go back and watch it. Guys that don't race or can't race like to go back and watch it. So I appreciate you guys. Appreciate our sponsors here for Demon Racing, Demon SimWorks, Demon Racing Chassis, Denver Smith Engineering, AutosByNelson.com, Splash and Go Graphics, Jay Weezy Graphics, Esophageal Cancer Awareness Association. It's for my dad, and just appreciate everything everybody's done, you know, for us in this league and to help us out. And we'll see how things go coming up in the next season. We'll get some things together and do some talking, but appreciate you guys being on the broadcast for us. Y'all have done a great job, and really think people are taking notice of what SRTV Network has to offer them too. And yeah, I know a lot of people are talking about y'all, so you do a great job. We really appreciate you.
Hey, man, thanks a lot for all the kind words, and that goes for you too, Baker.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we'll include Baker since he's been here long enough now.
I appreciate it, John.
Yeah, man, it's been a fun season, and I really enjoy watching you guys out there. And of course, we do this for fun as well. I love watching you guys out there on the racetrack, and hopefully everybody enjoyed it. A lot of people out there like to go back and watch it, like you said, the drivers themselves and their family and friends. So we did have some family and friends out there watching tonight, cheering their drivers on. So thank you guys for being out there. And John, man, congratulations. Hard work pays off.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you've done a lot of practice and practice with you a lot, and I appreciate your help and insight, and teammate Tommy, and like I said, everybody that's run here. Just been a lot of fun. These cup cars are a little different. Not everybody likes them, but you know, some people do, some people don't, I guess. But enjoy it, and glad we can pull it off here.
Hey, John, it's a pleasure talking to you here. Congratulations on your championship for you and your team, Demon Racing. You and Tommy Haynes really stole the show here tonight from old Todd Sargent, man, and hats off to Todd Sargent on a great season. We'll talk to you later, John.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
That's going to do it here tonight for the 2018 Demon SimWorks Cup Series. Sorry, I said that twice. Here at Charlotte, live on SRTV Network, Sim Race TV. Thanks to everybody that's out there watching. We appreciate your support every time we are live. If you tune in, I know a lot of people out there tune in to a lot of the dirt stuff we do as well. So, hey, we got some more dirt races coming up. Thanks to Steve for coming up here in the booth with me. I hope you enjoyed it, Steve.
Yeah, it was a great season. Super close green flag racing, and you know, really this league offers one of the cleanest race environments, and a lot of green flag racing, you know, offered to the drivers that participate. And again, congrats to John Wimbish on the championship. Congrats to Todd Sargent on a hell of a way to, you know, finish out a season, even though he ended up 1 point short. You know, it just shows how close the racing is here in the USRL, and you know, he still had a handful of wins there in the chase to hang his hat on, and look forward to next season and seeing what these guys have to come back out with.
Absolutely, man. Thanks again, Steve, and to everybody out there watching. Until next time, for SRTV Network, Steve Baker and myself, Jay Weezy, everybody have a great night.